All right, everybody.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good mornings, right? Oh, you know what? I meant to show you. It's like you might not be able to see this for a moment, but so we went to the Computer History Museum on Saturday, and so I ended up getting a coffee cup with a Cray on it.
Oh,
Are
right.
you familiar with the Cray supercomputers?
I'm trying to see it. I'm not actually.
Yeah. So we go in there, like they had a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, good morning. They had so it was like crazy getting to see an actual Cray in person because I remember like for the longest time like that's what me and my dad would always joke about was the Cray supercomputers and having one and it being our own type of thing, and it's like so I when I got this one I was like, see, now I've got my own Cray, got my own supercomputer.
Right. The desktop version.
Yeah, the desktop version. uh,
So awesome. All right. So we are here today. My cousin's with us. Awesome.
yeah.
We're going to do some Scratch programming, and the idea being that I think we're going to do asteroids, Sean.
Yes, that was the thought.
The idea is that we're going to do an asteroids-like game in Scratch. So I guess why don't we get started?
Yeah, this may take more than one session, but hopefully not too many.
Okay, now if you're not familiar with Scratch, it's like a block programming language where you just drag and drop your logic onto a like a workspace, and then you can execute that code. Um, it's very good for teaching people how to think about code without having to remember a specific language syntax. So
Yeah. So one of the first things we have to think about with asteroids is that um, the game is set up where you've got the your character in the middle, and it's basically a spaceship that can rotate, right, and go back and forth either direction. So I think one of the first things we're going to want to do is be able to add that functionality to this. We don't have to. I don't think we need to change the sprite just yet. So
mhm,
let's see if we can get the cat um,
to
changing.
move.
Yeah. So
All
what I'm
right,
going to
so now this is going to be the rotate, correct, John?
yeah, this will be the rotate that we're going to do.
Okay.
So let me just change this to ship. Oh, that's a costume name. That's not what I wanted to change. That doesn't really matter.
You change it over on the right side there, where it says Sprite One up top. See how it's selected, and
Oh,
then
you know what? I keep missing it. I every time I fixed it, I'm just like, where did they put that now?
yeah, I've done a little bit of Scratch these days.
Yeah,
So I kept doing what you were doing. It's like, oh, it didn't change.
yeah. And I know it every time I do it. That's the best part. I do it every time, and I'm like, shoot, this is wrong.
All right,
So
go right ahead, John.
okay. So the first thing we need to do is there's this when clicked, which is the little flag, which basically is the when the program starts, and it relates to this flag up here. So when you hit this, this is basically what starts running. So anything underneath it here would start, and you can see each of these blocks have this little notch, and you can see over here that these other ones have that same notch. So this allows you to drop the blocks on and attach them, right? So I don't want those there. So in this case, we want to be able to rotate it. So you can see these different colors have different uh, intentions behind them, right? So the blue ones are all the motion ones. This gives us the ability to move to different positions on the screen, or in this case, to rotate it. Yeah, it is free. So you can go and you just set up an account.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go through that process, but I already had one. But once you get on there, they actually have a bunch of free tutorials that they can help you with, like getting started with using it.
Mm-hmm.
This was, as you can see, if you look at the URL for it up here, it said it was created at MMIT or at MIT for their actual computer programming courses. So they use this to get started there. So you could, it's pretty serious. So
Yeah, and it's funny because John and I have been digging into this because of our new endeavor that we're doing, and it's surprising how deep you can really go with the Scratch. Like I was pretty shocked how big of a program you could really build this way. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Scratch, but
yeah,
there's a lot here. So anyway,
yeah.
so
Oh yeah. So we were talking. So we wanted to get the cat to rotate, right? So they have these turn right and turn left options here. So we can we could basically put that on there. And if I just, one of the things that's nice about Scratch is to test out what the block is doing, you can actually click on it and it'll execute it.
You can see the
And so,
game's running over on the top right corner there. So
yeah,
that's the game running. So
yeah,
every time he clicks it, you're seeing the cat turn.
yep. And so the cat just keeps going. So one of the things, oh, interesting. So what do we need to do here now? So
Well, what are you trying to? So we want to be able to actually make that happen. What with like a key press, right? So like your arrow buttons.
yes, let's do it with
Okay,
that.
so that's going to be instead of so when clicked, we're going to start a forever loop. So when it's running,
All right, so we want to do that first.
right? So that way it'll take the. There we go.
Yeah, and so actually, even if you look at this with this forever loop, now that that turn
It'll
is happening to the right, it'll now just keep rotating.
right because now it's just running that loop.
Yeah, and so what we want to add is the ability to be able to control that with the keys.
Yeah. So I mean, we could put a when key pressed as well for at this stage of the game, and you'll get the same effect. Maybe we want to do that.
Instead of the forever.
Yeah, because they do have a when key. So there's a sensing. I think it might be in sensing. No, I guess it
No.
is control. It's probably control. And when there
Oh,
it is.
maybe
Here
it's
it
in
is.
here in the
Yep.
events.
When and see that's a space. We'll just change that to an arrow key.
Right. Yeah, so we do right arrow.
Right.
Yeah, so now if we start this, then we should be able to.
Yep.
Yep. So I can.
Right. And that's lighting up when he's hitting his keyboard.
Yep.
If you can see that yellow pop in there.
Yeah.
So that's the code executing.
So then, because we have two of these, we actually we have one that's going to be the left arrow. I think these are somewhat new too. It's great. It's wild. So, yeah. So now I can go either direction. That's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Now the thing that makes this, I mean, this one works pretty well because of that. Um, but if we wanted to have any kind of, if we wanted to have some other stuff, it makes it better to do it in the forever loop. But this will be good.
Yeah, well, the
Um,
forever loop is still going to come into play because there's going to be like collision detection and things that are going to have to be checked all the time. It's not just going to be an arrow key.
yeah. So
So,
the other one that we want to do is we want to be able to have um, the up arrow button, right? Because so in Asteroids we have it where you can get thrust, so we need to be able to have the thrust action, which
right.
I think we should.
And
Let's try to see if
there's
we
a
can do this in.
velocity on here too, actually, just so you know, that you can have it like kind of go fast and then slow back down to a stop.
Is it built in?
Yeah, there's a velocity. I think it's in motion. There's something that has to do with. I haven't played with it, but I read about it that there's a velocity, and I think it impacts maybe the glide.
I don't see.
I don't
I
see
don't
it in
see it.
there either. Hmm. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's in there somewhere, but we don't have to go crazy with that.
Yeah. Let's just get it going in there to start. So we'll just put in the key press, right, for the up arrow.
Right, and then that's going to actually change your. Uh, well, here's the thing with that, right? It's supposed to just be forward. Yes.
Correct.
So we have to determine the angle and then move it the X and Y in that direction.
So X and Y. What is that?
So X moving across the screen there. I can't point because you have the control there, but
Yeah.
X moving across the screen and Y moving up and down um, vertically across the screen. So those are all coordinate points. So that is when you see in those blocks there the X and Y positions being set. Like for instance, go to X and then there's a 0 and Y, then there's a 0. That is going to take
Right.
it to the middle of the screen, and then going negative would take you to the left. I believe that's how this one's set up. Actually, I might be wrong. Let's test it out.
Yep. No, it is.
Okay. So 0 is the middle of the screen, and then to move around the screen is a negative will push you to the left for your x-axis, positive to the right, and then y up it is positive, right, and down is negative, John.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is very fun because there are some situations of programming where the coordinate system actually starts in the upper left, and then it's positive on the y going down, which always messes
Yeah,
with.
that's good times, good times.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, why don't we put the key presses on and we can illustrate what will happen if we did just make it up and down. So if we did this the way that you probably would think to do it first time out, we'd put the up arrow and say, okay, when we hit the up arrow, we want to move up the y-axis from where we are. So then we would want to change, there's a change y by. You look down, yep. And then that would be how many positions we want to move. I don't think they're pixels. There's some kind of measurement. There's whatever the sizing measurement is here.
Mm-hmm.
That's how many you move per key press. So 10 is a pretty good, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so now you can see it's moving up. I can't get back down.
Right, you can't get back down. So we need a when.
We'll add another one of those.
Uh-huh.
Go to the movement, and then we want to change y by again. And then this time it's going to do -10. Yeah, so now we can move back down. So now we can move up and down.
And we can turn.
And we can turn. So one of the things that is so we can turn and move up and down. It's not really back and forth, so it's close. But something that is interesting that they added, and I think this may solve the problem for us, is that we can. I think we can do this move 10 steps, and I think it moves in the positive direction. So
like forward.
yeah, so you can see so that up, but now if I turn,
oh, there we go.
so we have that kind of direction going on, right?
Okay, how do we define what the front is? Is that on the sprite, like in the paint portion?
It's the right. So what it basically means is my understanding is the 0 degrees, right? So right now, if you look at this, the way that this is set up on here, you see this direction is saying 105, right? So
Yeah,
that's
right.
degrees.
I have spent hours, by the way, playing with this. I answered in the chat. I'm sorry, I looked over. I was like, yeah, I've spent hours. Go ahead, John. So there's the degrees.
Yeah. So I think, so it must be whatever the 90 degree is. Like, so the expectation is that your sprite is going to have the right side as being the front.
Right. So if you have that sprite selected, if you go, you can open up the paint over there. If you go to that costumes tab.
Oh yeah.
So I guess what we're saying is if you were to draw something, the position that you drew it in, right would be front.
Yes, this side.
Right. So if we drew a cat that was upside down, it would just move upside down and backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try this. You know what? I have not used the paint portion of this too much, but it seems pretty good.
It's pretty okay. I mean, you can get going pretty quick. You could do some pretty easy shapes pretty quickly.
Yeah. No, that's very awesome.
I believe you can import as well. So if you have stuff that you've done in like Photoshop or whatever, that's a little more classy. You can pop it in there.
I also found this Pisco Lap, which is nice for creating animated like sprites. So you can set like a 64 by 64 grid for your pixels, and then you can draw them and you can add different cells to it, and it'll actually run the animation for you so you can see how it's looking as you're doing the editing, which I thought was great. That was one of those ones that I was like, finally.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you don't have to like kind of save it and play it.
Yeah, so you can do like a pixel pusher, right? So you can see here you got your frames, and over here it's running. So like if you were to add frames to it, so if I did, let's just draw a box here. And I draw another box over here. You can see over on the, yeah, it's kind of small.
Yeah, but you could see it happening. That's what that animation would look like.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you can actually say how many frames per second you're doing, so you can kind of see. So I don't know. It was neat. So it's definitely something worth thinking about as we're doing this. I brought it up because we were doing this, and I was like, oh, we may end up wanting to do our own sprites for it.
Yeah, so okay, so that steps thing is awesome. So then we don't have to calculate our angle. So great.
Now, you don't have to worry about the angle. Now, the only thing that would be nice, so one of the things that does happen in um,
Asteroids.
asteroids is when you push forward, it doesn't just move one piece, right? It's a thrust. So the idea is you want it to like to shoot and go and then slow down as it's going.
Right.
And the more you hold it down, the more thrust you're adding to it. So the velocity should be increasing. So I'm not sure
I'm gonna look on my side a little bit. And see
how we're going to do that just yet, but maybe we don't even have thrust to start with. Let's do that. Let's cut out the thrust and we'll just deal with the turning and the rotating to be able to deal with it, because I think that adding velocity is like a whole nother piece of work that's going to take a while.
Right. I'm
Hold
cool with
on.
that.
So when this starts, what I want to do is, so I'm going to set the game up where we're going to now start by default at 0, 0. This way, we're always going to be in the middle when we start.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is maybe we should even start it turned. Actually, that's not the one that I want.
Pointed up.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, so it'll be like that way. We'll have it kind of spinning in the forward direction, and we can do all the stuff that we want there. That.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, it's
we should probably let's update this costume. Let's see if this will.
I
Let's
think
see
there
what
might
they.
even be a spaceship in
Not a hip.
there. A hip. There you go.
Oh, look at that, and we even got. Okay, so it rotates that way, but we could actually just do this one, and if we actually do. These are actually kind of cool. This might be kind of neat to do it this way. All right, so we're gonna get rid of these costumes because we're not gonna have a cat in space at the moment. We're gonna do a ship. So the only thing with this is that it's kind of big. It's a
Yeah,
little too big for what
but
we're
you
doing.
can scale them down over in the right side there. If you look where it says ship on the right panel, down in, not in the paint panel at all.
Oh yeah. So what? Yeah, we can. Now the only thing with that is that this, if you change it over time for whatever reason, this won't. It could end up being an issue for you. That's all I was thinking about.
What do you mean if you change it over time?
Um. So instead, setting it when you start
Mhm.
might be a good idea if it's something that if you're going to be adjusting the variables over time. So the
Oh,
same.
for like closer and farther away, kind of like because that's what you would do to get the bigger and smaller, right? Would be to
Yeah.
get that close
Well,
and back
say
animation.
similar to the way that I'm setting the starting position and
Hmm.
the starting angle, right? Now, the only other thing I noticed about this that is different is that the forward is to the top on
Right.
this. So
So
we
I
need to
believe
change these.
you can rotate that. Yeah, that's weird. I
Um,
want like
it's here.
yeah, flip. No,
Mm,
no, that's just gonna. I thought there was a rotate. Oh, get that. The other. Mm-mm. Yeah, there you go. And then I think you can grab a corner for that one. Yeah, because the other one stretches it. This one turns and moves it. And now you can even grab a handle and push it into the left corner, I think.
Yeah, why is it so far away from... Well, we need to kind of...
I guess it needs to be in the.
Well, it doesn't have
Can
to
you,
be in the middle because you can set the...
that's all points. That's all stretch points.
Oh, how do I... No, that's fill. We need to set the middle.
I don't know how to set the middle.
It's from in here, but there is a middle, so I'm just going to set it there because I think... I can't see... There it is. Okay. I'm going to try that. And then do the same thing with this one. I'll rotate it that way. Cool.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so those... So
Now
now
the
the ship
front's
is facing
front.
the right direction, which is good. Where that looks better when it's bigger. Ah, it does.
And you should be able to move it around and all now too, just like you could before.
Yeah. I'm wondering if 15 degrees might be too much. And we should be doing 10. So now what I don't know, so here's something I've noticed, right?
Hmm.
It might be the keyboard. It feels like it does one and then like stutters for a second.
Mm.
You see how it does like one and then goes?
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be a problem in the game.
Yeah. It's going to create a little delay
I
to get
wonder. I
hit by
wonder.
an asteroid.
What if the does? Do you think the forever loop would make that work better? I want to see if it does. So one of the things we can do instead of using these whens, what we can do is we can add a control inside of this forever, where we can say we can do an if statement. So we're basically going to say if something is happening. In this
Right.
case, we can then sense a key being pressed. So weird. So one of the things I noticed about this, and I just I got to bring it up, is that with these pieces that you're putting in here, for some reason it's the left side that goes inside of there to get it going. So I've tried doing it from the right, and you can see it doesn't light up.
Yeah. But sometimes it'll drop on something else that'll take it because
Yeah,
that's where the right is. I've had that happen a lot. It's
yeah,
like, oh no, not in there, especially with the ovals because they kind of pop into anywhere.
yeah. All right, so I've done the right arrow in here. So now this, because this forever loop is going to just keep running, this if arrow is going to happen constantly. And so let's see if that makes a difference for us. Oh yeah,
Yeah, there you go. That smoothed it out. Okay, so let's put the other one in there then too.
yeah. I think we have to because
Right. So now it's going to be constantly checking to see if those arrow keys are down, like,
yeah,
several thousand times a second, I'm sure. I don't know what the actual like frame rate is here, but I'm sure it's very high.
yeah. Wrong spot. So now, oh yeah, look at that, like
Yeah.
instant. That's weird. I wonder why that when does it like that. I mean, I think that's probably handy, like if you wanted to add menu commands and stuff, like where you would hit X to exit or something like that. That the when may be better. Maybe for this stuff, like when it's like related to the action. Um,
Hmm. Well, you know what, too? It's an easy way to show it happening like we did. So
yeah.
we illustrated kind of a lot with that, even though it wasn't the final way to do it, as it turned out.
So I'm
What do you
noticing a
say?
small issue with this sprite here.
Yeah, it's tumbling around weird.
Yeah,
It's not centered, huh?
it's not centered, and there is a way. Are you looking up how to?
I'm trying to look up how to center a sprite.
Yeah, it's definitely available. That's a little better.
Yeah, they're saying select it and kind of work it around until it works the way you want it to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's not a tool in any of the. Well, this is like the little Scratch forum at Scratch.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I did not realize that. Hey, Allison.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. So now we've now got a nice smooth turning.
There we go. So you know what we should do, John? You should change the costume to the one with the flame when you do the key press,
Interesting.
because then the little fire will come out like you're thrusting, even though you're not going forward, but just the moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A
Or
little
maybe
bit.
it should be on the forward. Maybe it shouldn't be on the rotation.
That's on the rotation. It usually isn't, but that
It's
doesn't.
not. Yeah, we could do it for argument's sake, though, I guess.
I'm trying to get this a little bit closer in size because this one was a little bit bigger.
Mm.
Let me try just a little bit more. Ah, come on. It's tumbling again.
Oh, we don't have the chat bot on?
I do not have the chatbot on. Sorry. It's like, yeah, this is definitely way more approachable than what we've been doing.
It is, yeah. That's why we were like, well, we should have, something that people can find more accessible. This was actually John's idea, to start doing some of the scratch stuff. Um, I thought it was a great one. I thought Saturday morning was a good time for the kiddies. So, so here we are,
Maybe like Saturday
separating
morning.
spaceships.
Oh no. Oh,
Uh-oh, uh-oh. Spaceship's getting near a black hole. Squishing.
yeah, right. I was trying to figure out how I can do this to keep it in the center.
Yes, they have.
Yeah. Well, now they watch cartoons on Twitch, right?
Yeah, right. Need edgier content, man.
Yeah. So now that we have the ship, I feel like the next piece for us here is really the idea of doing the shot.
Okay. So how are we going to get that to go off on that trajectory, right?
I think it's going to be easier than you think. And I tell you
Okay.
why. So
Can
one
we
of the
get
things
that degree? We probably can get that angle, right?
we can that Scratch is smart enough that they've added these basically these three variables right here. So you can get your current XY position as well as your current direction. And so we can take the direction of our ship. You can actually see I just clicked on it, popped up 25. And if you look over here, it shows the ship's direction is 25. So all that stuff is the same. So if we're able to get that direction, we're able to get this direction, I think we should be able to use that direction for the sprite that's going to be our shot,
Right.
right? So let's add a sprite. Let's see if we can do a dot. I like the fact that that dot was a dog. That's really funny.
See, do
Um,
they have like a missile or something like that? No.
um, they're probably trying to avoid creating those kind of games, right?
Yeah, at least anything too graphic.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's see.
have it shoot fortune cookies. I like fortune cookies. I think they're funny, and it's Pete's House of Coon.
Oh, that works.
There it is. There it is. Next to football. We'll just make it small.
Yeah.
Yes, fortune cookies.
That is really funny. Oh, look. Oh, so you can have ones that are vectors and ones that aren't. That's
Yes.
interesting. Okay. I did not realize that. All right. So this is going to be. Nope, that's too small. There we go. You can still tell it's a fortune cookie.
Yep.
So one of the things we're going to want to do with this one here, right? So I think what we can do is we can make this one have this when I start as a clone event. If we
When I
are,
start as a clone event, it's like multiplicity. All right.
yeah,
When I start as a clone,
because what we want to do is we're going to want to clone. Do we need to even clone this? How many bullets do we want to allow at a time?
3.
I think it was 3, right?
It
That's
was
what I
3,
kind
I
of
believe.
remember.
Yeah.
So that way
Any of
we
you
can.
asteroid players want to contribute, call it out, but I think it was 3.
Yeah, I think it was 3 too. So what we're going to need is we're going to need something to set its direction, right? So we're probably going to need a variable because I don't think we can have. Because we want. I think part of the. So what I'm trying to do is I was trying to figure out like we need to have. Um, we need to do a set direction.
Okay, so go to variables. You were in the right place. You
No,
want
I
to
know,
create.
but let me
Oh,
try. Let's try doing the um, this point and direction, right?
okay.
And then um,
We have to capture the direction of the ship, huh?
yeah, that's part that I was trying to figure out. How do we fill this in? Because right now it's 90, which would be
So you're going to need a global variable that gets set when you turn the ship.
yeah, that's what I'm, or at least when we do the firing.
Yeah, so do make variable, and then we'll call it like ship direction or something.
There we go. So now we have a ship direction. So then
Now,
I
did you
can.
make it so everybody could see it? Because it's going to have to be
Oh,
global.
I did. I did.
Okay,
Um, you'll be able to tell. So when I come over here now, you'll still see ship direction.
right. And
Right.
then it's in the yeah. It's on. It puts it up on the screen by default, so you can actually see your variables changing while you run your program. But you can take them off the screen when you're ready to create your
Yeah.
game.
This little checkbox is what puts it on there. So you can see I can uncheck it. It goes away. I check it. It comes back.
Yeah, that's a nice little debugger when you're trying to figure out why something's going wrong.
Yeah.
Because you can't really step into your code in the way that you can in more advanced languages, like put breakpoints in and stuff. So you have to kind of monitor your variables.
Yep. So we're gonna put in here now another key press. I'm gonna go with the space bar for our shooting. Right.
Okay.
And now that we have that variable, we can actually do a thing here that does a set. So we can say set the ship direction, and instead of putting that a number, we can actually take this direction option, which is basically a variable, but it's one that's in the system for the sprite. And we can do that.
Hmm.
And then,
So then your fortune cookie, right?
yeah. And then I can do a create clone of fortune cookie.
Right.
There we go.
So then when they get cloned, so then that's going to be back on the fortune cookie code then.
Yes.
What happens? So now we point it there and we move it in that direction, right?
Yep. We can say point that direction. And then we can. Well, I wonder if we could just do. Let's just do this for right now. Looks like it's a random position. We'll just leave it like that for now.
Well, okay. That's going to
So,
shoot. It's not going to care about what direction you're pointing though.
shoot, you're right. Um, say, huh?
It's It's going to, yeah, exactly. Steps is the way you're going to do it.
Yeah, steps is what we're going to do. I think what I'm going to do here, for right now, I'm just going to put a forever block around it.
You could also do a until, and then put like XY coordinates. So you could do like X equals 300 or Y equals whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Actually, well, one of the things that's really great that they actually added in here is you can say repeat until touching. And I think you can do
oh,
edge.
edge. Oh, perfect. That's exactly what we need right there.
Yeah.
And that'll do it.
And then that'll do that.
And then we steps, step 2 or whatever. Move.
Now,
Move steps. That's what it is.
yeah. So let's make this like 5. Just a little bit faster. So.
And you want to hide the fortune cookie.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Why is it so many?
Because we don't have anything stopping how many are firing, and we don't let it. So because that loop is so fast, right? So this works good because it's just doing its
Look at those fortune cookies laying everywhere, though. Because once one hits the edge, they all stop.
No, it's just like.
Oh, it's just they're sitting on the edges. Because we don't make them disappear.
No.
And they're coming off of the original fortune cookie. So we have to make that disappear and set the position of the fortune cookie where it's getting cloned from to the spaceship position. Okay, but that was neat.
Look, it stopped cloning.
Oh, there's probably a cap.
That's pretty funny. I did not expect that.
That's awesome.
So I think in the controls, you can say delete this clone. So we can actually create it, have it run, and then it'll delete it. So this should actually at least clean them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're at least going away.
Yeah. Then we shouldn't run into the problem where it'll just stop. I love it.
That's awesome, though. Look at that. So to make like an effect where you're going down into something, there you go. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Right.
Oh boy, that's awesome. Okay.
All right.
So.
Yeah. Now, how do we get that spot?
So we want like a delay, right? So do we set like a little timer? That seems like the most direct way to do it, right? Is to set a timer to wait for like a tick before you. So you put that in place, and if your timer hasn't been reset, you just jump out and you don't clone.
Yeah. So we could do like a if key pressed or.
Well, you just do if key pressed and then say if fortune cookie equals 1.
I wonder if this might actually be a good spot for that when. Oh, not that one.
It's I think it's a while. Oh no. Well, they're all starts though. Okay.
But what if we do this? Right? I think it'll actually. Yeah, so like I can't
stopping it.
Yeah, because I can't hold the. Oh, I can't.
can.
Oh, you know what? But when I do the other keys.
So not quite. We still would need to deal with it, but it handles it a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder how.
But if it seemed like were you getting like a little delay like we were before, or was it popping right out? Because it might have been a screen delay, but I felt like I could hear your space button and then I would see the fortune cookie pop. But it might be the stream or the video.
So here's the thing I just did, right? So I have the button and I'm holding it down, but I added a wait 1 second on this when statement, right? So this won't execute for more than once a second. That
might be good enough.
Yeah, and then we can control how many, right? So to make sure that we can't have more than, so it won't let me hit it more than once a second. Maybe we can make that a little bit shorter. Maybe we could do half a second. But so again, for all the sprites, we want to make the we'll do shot count, right? And so what we would want to do is
you can change by 1, so you can increment as well instead of set.
Oh, look at that. Cool. All right, let's do that. So we can do a change by, and then we can set the ship count to +1.
Right.
And then we can come over to the fortune cookie, and then when this one finishes, we can now do, oh, not ship direction, ship count. We can do this as a -1. So now if we try running that, right? So now if I shoot, oh, neat. So you can see 2, 3, and then they disappear. The number goes down, right, on the shot count.
Perfect.
I think that is looking good.
I can do another one. Okay, yeah. Ha.
All right.
There we go.
Now, the thing is, I can still technically get up to 4, but the time is just, it's hard to get to 4. Like I'm pressing the space bar as fast as I possibly. I'm holding the space bar and I can't get it.
Yeah, because you have to like spam it
Yeah,
to get it. Now, if you're all the way across the screen, you might be able to make it happen.
true. So then what we want to do is, so on the space bar when it's pressed, we
Yeah.
only want to do that. Do
So
this whole
there's,
thing is if.
now we're
What do
going
we?
to get a conditional. Well, if that variable is less than 3, right? Was the number of shots?
Yeah. So that's what we have here, right? So
Right.
these little carrots here is, this is greater than, less than, and equal. So we can
Yeah,
take.
and then you can chain those up. I'm pointing like you can see, but you can chain those up with those ands and ors as well. So you can have pretty long ifs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. These ones here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now we do shot count. Oh, I selected the wrong one. I just put one over top of it. I just like, yeah. Good. So we only want to do it if the shot count is less than 3.
Right.
Let me try putting this all the way over here, because then we can actually test the. Yep. See, now there's only 3 going, and when one disappears, you'll see the next one pop out because I'm holding
Yep.
down the space bar. So we're getting that nice. Only 3 shots are able to come out at a time. Perfect. Do you think it's funny that I can just drag where we're going to be shooting from?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to put that into the ship movement.
Yeah, we got to figure out what that.
Well, when you move the ship, you're just going to move the fortune cookie, right? It's always going to be invisible, and part of that, when I'm a clone, you're just going to make it visible.
Oh, you know what? Why don't we just do this?
Well, you should start it at 0,
Well, we
the
should
same
do.
way the other one was. But
Yeah. So what we can do is we can actually do. Actually, no. Let's just leave it for right now. But we can put it, if we put it right there. We can actually do a thing with sprites that are kind of interesting that I didn't know about until just recently. But you can do, like, so we're going to say when it starts, we can actually have it hide the sprite.
Mhm.
So that way the clones are the only
So
ones you're going to
right
see.
top there, hide.
There it is. Okay. So,
You're going to have to show it.
oh,
You're going
over
to have to
here.
show it on your clone.
I thought it was just going to show.
But it's not going to move with your ship, right?
It won't. But let's not worry about that until we get to that point, right?
I wonder if there's a follow. Is there a follow in here? Because that would do the trick. We wouldn't have to
I don't.
manually move it. It'd probably be motion or sensing. Because that has all the.
Yeah, I don't.
Loudness timer.
Day since 2000.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't
That
see it,
looks like not. Okay.
which is
So we're going
fine.
to have to code it up. Yeah, we'll just have to move the fortune cookie with the keys as well.
Yeah, which is fine. I just want. So part of what I was trying to do is I was trying to leave something that's going to break in the future, because half of the learning is going to be trying something that you think is going to work, and then it doesn't, and then you have to like go, oh, why is that not working? Because we see it a lot, right? So we can see the future a little bit better with some of it. I
Yeah,
still
I
don't.
guess that's true.
Oh, I have this turn 90 degrees.
Well, yeah, that was to get it right for the cat, wasn't it? So it was pointing up.
Yeah, but I have it turned, not set, which is why. You know what? That's a good question. A drag, huh? And that was in. I wonder if I just search for drag.
That was in sensing, though, wasn't it? Like, so it picks up a mouse drag. Yeah, set drag mode, draggable.
Oh yeah, so this is for if you want to make something draggable that you can click on and
Like
move
the
around.
sprite,
Yeah,
the sprite itself.
as part of the actual game, I believe. Yeah. It does seem like everything should be set to not draggable, but it is. So I don't know what that is about, but because some of it, so some of this game, some of the games that you can make with this, because it does have, like right now we're using the keyboard to control the character, but one of the things that is really neat is that you don't have to. You can do stuff to use it with the mouse, right? So like a good example would be you can actually do something that's pretty neat up here in the motion where you can say point towards mouse pointer, right? So if I put this up here when this starts, oh, I gotta put this in the forever loop.
To make it follow, right?
Yeah.
Got to pull the bottom off. There you go. There you go.
Let me remove this too, because that's not what I want to do. I want to put points in direction 90. So now as I move my mouse around, you can see it's automatically pointing at where my mouse is at. So now you can start doing stuff where, like if we wanted to start shooting from this way, like we could actually play it like this, where the mouse is controlling the
Right.
rotation.
Right. So you could actually kind of Diablo it where you shoot where the mouse is.
Yep, yep. So that makes it, that's why the mouse is such a big piece of it, because you could have something where you drag something to a spot, and so
Yeah.
it's
You
pretty
can
neat
just
though.
you can actually drag the unused blocks over into the toolbox and they just disappear as well.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that a couple of times, but it was weird. I ended up one time I did it, and I ended up finding that I'd left a whole bunch of things underneath of it, and so I scrolled over, and
Throw
there
them
was a
all
whole
away.
yeah, and there was a whole bunch of stuff there. I was like, oh, that's weird. All right, so we have a rotating ship,
And it kind of shoots, right?
and it kind of shoots. Um, you know what I was wondering? Is there a way that are you familiar with a way to push this like down on the stack of things? If I move it here, does that?
There's a layer. There are layers. Oh, maybe there's not. It might just only, no, there is. There definitely is. There's like a Z kind of a thing. But I think you set it through the paint menu. Nah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just for the drawing part.
Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, it might be. I was wondering if the order of these makes a difference.
Might. You still have that invisible though, right?
Yeah, it's not. It's still right on the. Huh. Well, I'll have to figure that out at some point because it's not too terribly important. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what we could actually do? So we could take this. Let's see, repeat, point and direction. So if we do, um, oh man, I gotta get better at how to control this. Because what I want to do is if we do point and direction, and then we can actually say, let's say move 10 or let's say 15. and then show it.
Hmm. There you go.
Think
So it
that,
doesn't pop out from the middle.
yeah.
There's nothing happening.
Oh, that's weird.
Um, that is weird.
Do you see how the shot count went down to -1 though?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. I moved it. I must have moved it at some point. And
Oh,
so it wasn't on 0 anymore.
there you go. It's
Oh, so
better.
that's better. So it seems like this needs to be more like 25.
Hmm. So it comes out the tip. There it is.
Yeah,
Boom.
there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. We got a ship shooting fortune cookies.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know, yeah, that's cool.
That is pretty cool.
You know what I would like though? I would like this backdrop to be black.
That's easy. Go to the paint.
Yeah,
Just do a fill on it.
it's got to be because it's space. You know?
They have space backgrounds. They're just stars.
Oh yeah. Let's see what we got. Let's see what
Yeah,
we
just
have
go
here.
into the pre-mades. Space. It's actually a category. See it?
Oh, there we go. We're gonna do a galactic backdrop. Nice. So I have to say, part of me wants to put some like stars scrolling past.
Yeah, you could totally do that. Well, we'll have to put the spaceship in and stuff, like you do. Like the Asteroids has the little comes through that you have to shoot real quick for extra points. Put that
Oh
in.
yeah,
Little flying saucer guy.
yeah, that's right. And he floats.
I
Right.
have to record that sound effect too for it. Just laughing at myself. That was a silly
Why?
thing I just did.
Why is shot count starting at -1? That doesn't make sense.
Are you not incrementing it up when you shoot it? Did you take that out or something? No, it says change by one.
What is? You know what? I think the problem might be. Do you think this executes once? I feel like this is getting hit early.
Yeah, because look at the shot
Oh,
counts going
oh,
down.
you know what? It's just staying. You know what? It's the same problem that I was having with this one, right? So these are all getting set. I think what I have to do is I have to set what this initial value is for this
Oh, because
variable.
right. I got you. You have to set it to 0 in the beginning.
Yeah,
That makes sense too, and that's kind of good practice to get into owning your variables.
yeah. So now when I start it, now it'll be 0, and so oh, I
Whoa.
let's do that for this one here for right now too. We're gonna do the same thing. So I want to make sure that this is set. So we're gonna say go to 0. Something that was neat too. I don't know if you had seen this, Pete, but like, so let's say we can see the fortune cookie. You see it's all the way over here. If I
Hmm.
drag it, like let's say here,
Hmm.
and I want to find what that spot is, that
Yeah,
it
it
actually,
tells you.
yeah, it automatically puts it in here. So you could drag this on here, and now that's going to be the spot that it'll always come in.
I
Which,
did know that,
yeah,
actually.
that was very handy. A couple of things do that. Like I think some of the any of the set stuff in here in the motion, it'll take it from where you have it currently, and it'll populate it with that, which is nice. Um, yeah, so now it's reset back to 0, and there we go. Yeah, all right.
All right, look at that.
Yeah. So
We're getting near 10 o'clock.
yeah, let's see if we can find.
Good asteroid. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, doesn't have to be.
Right? We're using a fortune cookie, so it could be something else.
Yeah. Let's see if they have noodles.
Food. Go to food. See the category?
Yeah. Oh, food. Donut. Oh yeah.
Or taco?
Do we have a donut? Oh, we have a taco. Do we have any cool
We
animations?
should just have fruit, dude. You could have strawberry, orange, apple, and banana. Oh, he dances? Look at him.
Oh, that's giant.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to scale him down.
That's too small.
That's a little small.
I think 50 is good. Let's do 60 to start. All right. What do we have as far as costumes for it?
Oh,
I think what I want to do is I want to have this one.
change costumes.
Yeah, I want to have it animate. So.
You could just start it and forever have a change of costume, so it'll just happen when it's showing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Forever.
And then there's a next costume.
You know what's actually neat too? We could do. Oh yeah, I'm gonna save that for later. Let's do the.
It's right there, next costume.
Yeah, next costume. It's just gonna. I think that'll make it a little fast.
So you're gonna want to wait.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to put a weight in there.
Donut. We'll put it. We want a donut. Okay.
Yeah. I know.
The crowd says donut.
All right, we're gonna do this as 0.1.
Yeah, there you go.
2.2. Oh, you know what we also needed to do? We need to have it rotate.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
So rotate it like 1 degree.
Right, because it's an asteroid.
Yeah.
They rotate.
Oh, that's 1 degree too small.
Too slow. Still too slow.
Yeah.
Give it like 9, 8, 9, 25. It's gonna be fast. It's not that fast. Okay, that's good.
Well, keep in mind that it does it every 0.2 seconds.
All right,
Right.
it's got that little delay on it, but still.
Maybe what we should do is we'll put this back in there. Let's do another one. Oh, I forget that it's events. So
Randomize it. That would be good.
I was thinking that we can now have it run at its own pace, right? So we could randomize it.
Well, yeah, we could randomize it on the clone.
Yeah.
So that they all spin at a different rate.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, because they come in from off screen, right? Let's see if they didn't have a donut.
They did have a donut.
Oh, they have a giant donut. Does it have costumes? No, it's just a donut.
Maybe that'll be the spaceship going across. Flying saucer. Make it go across real fast.
Oop, 25 is too small.
What is that?
40 might be good. I think it's goalposts. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this cat yay. Cat yay. So we gotta figure out
This is fun, but I have so much to do today.
right,
a little bit more.
Yeah, let's I think what we need is we need something that's gonna pull out the asteroid, right? So we're gonna have to have an event here so that we can generate an asteroid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want the Well, wait, don't we generate all the asteroids at once and set them on the screen? So we just say when it starts, it generates three, and like each level, like you get a little bit more,
They go faster.
and they go
So,
faster.
and more. Yeah, so there's going to be like a spawn rate and a movement rate that go up with levels. But for now, they do come from off the screen though,
Yeah.
at a random point at a random trajectory. And then probably what you're going to want to do is even randomize the size a little bit because it gives it like they come in different sizes.
They just had different shapes because they all start in the big size.
They
And
do
as
have
you
different shapes. You're right.
and as you shoot them, they break apart into smaller pieces, and then you got to knock those off. Um,
Right. So there's just big ones and small ones.
yeah, and I think we could do it where I think what we can do is we can have them generate in different spots with random spots and random directions.
Hmm.
Um, and then you just let them go because the thing that changes their direction is when they get shot and they break apart. Then those are all end up being random
Right.
on the way that the broken pieces come apart, right? So let's take
Yeah. So we need like a spawn asteroid like subroutine really.
yeah. So we need the spawn asteroid. Well, I mean that can happen here. Um, we could either do it here or we could do it on here when clicked. Um, because
Yeah.
because we could do something like say when this is clicked.
Well, you could do it in the game loop too and clone them there.
Um,
Yeah, you still have to do the actual code of what it does in here now.
yeah, so that's the part that was. So I think here we want to actually do. Oh wait, but we could do this on when cloned, right?
Right, but
So
and it's not really random. It's because it has to come from off the screen.
it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. They don't just pop into existence; they would kill you.
Hmm, that is true.
Yeah, so they have to we have to figure out what the bounds of the screen are, and then generate something else. Like it can't be on the screen.
So we actually have to do like screen edges
Hmm.
because it's not actually like you can't come in completely from off screen. It's one of the pitfalls with because the center is like where you're at.
Yeah, but I think they give you a little bit of padding around that viewport. No, it's not letting you.
Mm-mm. At least I don't think so. Let's try.
Because I thought I was getting some of that with that like River Raid scroller that I was working on. I thought that there was a little bit of padding where I could take it off the screen and then get rid of it.
Well, let's try. Let's try playing with some of these positions, right? So if I set this to negative 250. So what if I do that and then I'll have it point direction 90 and then have it. Let's add. Oh, my thumb is hurting. Uh, let's put the forever around that.
Do you have a show?
Oh, hold on a second. Um, the direction, it's rotating, and so it was still going in one direction, and so it just kept. It was doing this probably over here somewhere. So
Oh,
because this should. It keeps going back. Look.
Yeah, I do. I see it. Is it because we're...
Wait a minute. Why is it positive?
I don't understand what's happening. Move 10.
I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. It's
I
not
mean, it's
showing.
invisible. I told you you didn't show it, but yeah, it's not visible, but it's still... Oh, it is moving. Okay. It
But see,
does
then
come across.
but then it stops. Let's try this.
Right.
Let's try negative 300. Negative 300.
Nope.
Let me try right there. Yeah, see, even at negative 300, like it's still just hanging off the edge there.
Okay.
So we can't.
So can the position be edge? Like, so what is the edge?
I think it's looks like it's negative 243.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
What's the other edge? It's going to be positive 243. Should be.
that would be my guess.
Yeah.
Let me try do 270. Yeah, I don't know how. I didn't think I'd made the thing invisible first. That's why I was surprised about it. But yeah, so 243 seems to be the size. There isn't, like, it has an if on edge bounce, which basically just turns it.
So if the middle is the edge, can we put... I was going to say, can we set the sprite up so the actual image is in like a corner to give ourselves some buffer?
That only if we're doing it from one side only.
Right. So you would need to... Well, you can flip them. But
yeah, not quite sure. This is definitely well, I mean, we just won't have it come in as slowly as like they do from the asteroids, because that's the one thing about asteroids, right? Is that it would come in from the outsides and it would come in and just creep into the screen in front of you, right?
Right. And not necessarily even going towards you. That's the other thing, because we have to make sure that the direction is not just like off the screen, like in the wrong direction.
Well, but that's fine, because then it would just come around. It should. So what's supposed to happen, right, is as this comes to here and it hits this edge, it should then come through on this side.
Right, but
maintaining the angle. So.
Oh, right. It just passes through. So it could start up like all the way on the right side and then move right and come up on the left.
Correct. So the directionality in that case doesn't matter so much. But I am concerned that we're not going to be able to. I don't know how we're going to do that. I think this might be a good spot to stop.
Okay. Yeah,
because,
it's 10:11. So
yeah, I'm not sure. So.
Yeah, if anybody wants to proceed with this, you want to share it, John, and then they can kind of make a copy.
Yeah, let's see.
Work on it themselves.
All right, so I've shared it.
It's called Astro.
Say learning to blow up fruit. All right. So now I can copy that link. Actually, even put it in here. So I don't know if that matters, but that cool. Yeah. So if you, my name is Johnny Nibbles. So if you do Johnny Nibbles and Astro, you should find it. Probably should create a Pete's House of Code. Oh, you know what? We could create a studio called Pete's House of Code.
There you go. Let's do it.
Let's see. Leave.
takes passwords and stuff, we might not want to do it live. But
No, I think it's just new studio. Oh, wait. What?
that was a new project, I think.
Oh, shoot, it was. I meant to do that. New studio.
Thanks. Thanks, cuz. We're trying.
Ah,
It's getting better, huh?
eventually. Yeah, so now we can do Pete's House of Code. And then we can... Yeah, so now we got that in there. So now you should be able to look for that. I'm following it. I feel like there's a way... Oh, here I do. I'm just going to allow anyone to add projects to it. So there we go.
It's cool. We could do like the curators and stuff later if we want.
Yep. Oh, that's what it was, right? So then, yeah, so it'll do curators, and then we can add you in there. All right, awesome. All right, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. This has been awesome. We had
Yeah,
I hope you had as much fun as we had.
yeah,
So,
very fun.
all right.
All
Have
right,
a
thanks
good
everyone.
rest of your weekend.
All right, adios.